She said she was at yoga, but her car's Bluetooth connected to my phone. That's when I heard her and my best friend laughing about how easy it was to fool me and take everything I built. The Bluetooth mistake. It was supposed to be a normal Tuesday. I was in the parking lot outside the grocery store, scrolling through my playlists, trying to find something to distract me from work stress. Without thinking, I tapped the Bluetooth icon. Usually it connects to my car, but this time it picked up Sarah's, my wife. I blinked at the screen, confused. Her car shouldn't even be nearby. She was supposed to be at her weekly yoga class across town. Then I heard her voice, laughing, and another voice, Mark's, my best friend since college. At first it didn't register, just chatter, background noise. Then I caught the words, "Once he signs the house over, it's done. We'll finally have everything without that idiot dragging us down." They both laughed. Mark said something about how easy it's been. Sarah replied she couldn't believe how long I'd been buying it all. My hands started shaking. The groceries blurred. I didn't disconnect. I didn't breathe. I just sat there, listening, frozen. They kept talking about timelines, about tax advantages, about me like I wasn't even real. I realized then I wasn't married. I was a mark in a long con, and they'd been planning my replacement all along. The drive home. I don't remember driving home. 1 minute I was in that parking lot, hearing my wife and best friend plan their future without me. The next, I was parked in our driveway, the car still running, my hands gripping the wheel like it was the only thing anchoring me to this world. Everything felt fake. The lawn I'd mowed last weekend, the front porch light I'd fixed just 2 days ago, the flower box Sarah loved that I kept watered. I stared at our house like it belonged to strangers. My brain kept looping those words. Once he signs the house over. The house I worked overtime to pay off. The house we planned our future in. I couldn't go inside, not yet, not while I was shaking like this. I scrolled through photos on my phone of Sarah, of Mark, of all three of us at barbecues, birthdays, vacations. It all looked like a lie now. I kept thinking, how long had it been going on? How many dinners, smiles, inside jokes were rehearsed? I didn't cry. I just felt cold. Then I made a choice. I wasn't going to react. I was going to document. If they were playing the long game, so was I. The perfect husband act. That night, I made her favorite dinner, salmon with garlic butter and asparagus. She walked in around 8:30, cheeks flushed, hair slightly damp like she'd just showered at someone else's place. Probably had. She kissed me lightly, thanked me for dinner, and started rambling about how yoga had worn her out. I nodded, smiled, poured her a glass of wine. I wanted to flip the table. I wanted to scream. But instead, I passed her the salt like nothing had changed. Because this was now war, and I wasn't going to let rage blow my cover. After dinner, she sat beside me on the couch, scrolling her phone with that smug little smile she didn't even know she wore when texting him. Mark, my brother. I asked her how class went. She gave me the same tired line about core strength and mindfulness. I even laughed at her joke, the one she probably rehearsed in his bed. Before bed, I offered to rub her shoulders. She looked surprised. "You're being so sweet lately," she whispered. I kissed her forehead and said, "Just thinking about our future." She smiled, and I started my 97-day performance that night, setting the trap. The next morning I called in sick, told work I had a migraine. In truth, I needed time. Time to dig, to plan, to stop being the idiot in the dark. Once Sarah left, yoga mat slung over her shoulder, peppermint tea in hand, I went to work, checked the safe. empty except for the documents I already knew about. So I searched her closet. Nothing. Then I had a thought. The spare gym bag she never touched. It was wedged behind old scarves and a winter coat. Inside, a second phone. My pulse spiked. It was locked, but the charger was right there. I plugged it in, let it boot up, and just watched. Notifications lit up the screen like fireworks. Texts from Mark, Google Calendar events hidden from our shared account, and photos. God, the photos. Her in a hotel robe, him shirtless, smirking. Smiley selfies with captions like, "Our real life soon hearts." I took pictures of everything with my own phone, created a new cloud folder, password protected, titled it Truth. When she got home, I was folding laundry. She kissed my cheek. I smiled, kissed her back. She didn't know it yet, but I wasn't the fool anymore. The lawyer. By day 5, I had enough to know this wasn't some reckless affair. It was premeditated, coordinated, and I needed help. I made an appointment with a divorce attorney, someone recommended through a friend, way outside our social circle. Discreet, sharp. Her name was Dana, and she didn't blink once when I laid it all out. The Bluetooth call, the second phone, the secret bank transfers, the house plot. She looked me in the eye and said, "You're sitting on a powder keg, but lucky for you, we're going to control the explosion." That's when the real work started. Dana laid out a plan. First, I needed to protect myself financially, freeze unnecessary joint activity, open new accounts under my name only, begin moving assets subtly. Second, we'd collect every transaction, every text, every lie. She even suggested I install a voice recorder in my home office. If she gets comfortable, she'll talk. Let her hang herself. I walked out of that office with a binder full of steps, a flash drive, and something I hadn't felt since the Costco parking lot: purpose. They wanted me out quietly. I was going to make sure I left loudly, but legally. Playing the long game. From that day forward, I became the husband she thought she'd fooled. I brought her flowers every Thursday, cooked Sunday brunch, rubbed her feet while she scrolled Instagram in silence. When she went to book club, I smiled, kissed her goodbye, and made a mental note of the time she left. But behind every smile, I was documenting everything. I installed a keylogger on the laptop she used to shop for new kitchen stuff I now knew was for a condo she and Mark were planning to share. I synced her hidden phone's data to my private cloud. Every message, every photo, every sneaky hotel reservation. I even suggested we update our wills and look into transferring the house into her name for self-employment tax reasons. She lit up like a Christmas tree, told me her advisor had mentioned something similar. I nodded, said I'd handle the paperwork. She kissed me like I was the most wonderful idiot alive. Every time I smiled, I filed another mental weapon for later. They had no idea I was watching, listening, preparing, because if they wanted a countdown, they were going to get one. Dinner with the enemy. On day 21, Mark invited me over to watch the game. Said he missed hanging out like old times. It was bold, shameless even. I said yes. When I showed up, he handed me a beer with the same hand that touched my wife. We sat side by side, watching the screen while he made small talk. Asked if Sarah and I were planning a vacation soon. Said she seemed happier lately. The irony almost made me choke on my drink. He started texting mid-game, grinning at the screen like a teenager. I didn't even need to ask who it was. I just sipped my beer and nodded like a good friend. When he got up to grab snacks, I slid the small USB recorder from my jacket pocket and tucked it beneath the couch cushion. Battery would last 12 hours, long enough to catch any phone calls he made after I left. Before I walked out that night, he clapped me on the back and said, "We should do this more often." I agreed, and added another entry to the folder I now titled War Journal, the decoy phone. By week 4, I knew she was getting nosy. I'd catch her glancing at my phone more often. Once, she even picked it up while I was in the shower, thought I didn't notice. So I gave her something to find. I pulled my old phone out of the junk drawer and set it up as a decoy, synced just enough apps to make it believable, filled the search history with innocent things. Tax deadlines 2024, DIY patio lights, and the pièce de résistance, benefits of transferring house to spouse for tax reasons. Then I left it in plain sight, face down, charging. That night, while she thought I was asleep, I watched her take it into the bathroom. She was gone 17 minutes. When she came back to bed, she was practically purring, kissed my shoulder, whispered that we should go away for a weekend soon, just the two of us. I said that sounded perfect. She wasn't just falling for the bait, she was feeding on it, and I was counting down the days, one manipulated smile at a time. Her weekend away. Day 36. She said she was going to the coast with a few girls from her yoga studio. Just a wellness retreat. Nothing fancy. No cell reception, she added casually. Don't worry if you don't hear from me. Right. That Friday, I kissed her goodbye and even carried her bag to the car. Watched her drive off with a smile so fake it made my jaw ache to hold mine. She didn't know I'd already seen the hotel booking. Her little retreat was actually a 2-night stay at a boutique inn near Wine Country. 1 king bed, reserved under Mark's name. I waited an hour, then logged into the tracker app Carl helped me set up. Their location pinged together by 4:12 p.m. I took screenshots of everything. The movement, the timestamp, even the brief stop at a liquor store on the way. By Saturday morning, I had photos. Mark posted a blurred selfie on his burner Instagram. Reflected in his sunglasses, Sarah, in a white sundress, smiling. They were documenting their affair with the care of a honeymoon scrapbook, and I was building an archive of betrayal. The night she said, "I love you." Cracks in the mask. Day 56. She slipped. It was subtle, the kind of thing most people wouldn't notice, but after nearly 2 months of playing this chess match, I was attuned to every detail. We were folding laundry in the living room, a sitcom humming in the background. She was humming along, laughing at a joke she wasn't listening to, when she said it. "Mark always folds his shirts inside out. It keeps the logos from cracking in the wash." Silence. She didn't notice it right away, just kept folding. My hands froze mid-sock. Mark, not Dylan. She never called him that to me before. He was always Dylan, my friend, our friend. But Mark was the name he used on his business socials. His clients called him that. His family. It was what she called him when they thought they were alone. She looked up, caught the look on my face for just a second too long. Then, "Oh, I meant Dylan." "You know he's picky like that." I smiled. "Yeah, he is." And added a note in my folder. Day 56. Slipped up. Called him Mark. Habitual. Emotional attachment confirmed. The mask was slipping, and she didn't even know it. Our future home. Day 61. I found the Zillow link on the iPad. She'd left it open in another tab, buried between a Pinterest recipe for lemon chicken and a BuzzFeed quiz titled, "What Kind of Garden Matches Your Soul?" It was a listing for a house. Not our house, a new one, across town. Smaller yard, bigger kitchen, 2 bedrooms, not 3. A fresh start, the listing said. Perfect for a couple with no kids. It was saved to a collection called New Beginnings. There were others, too, 5 homes total, all within a 10-mile radius, all move-in ready, all bookmarked within the last 2 weeks. I took screenshots, then checked the metadata. Every link had been sent from Mark's email, not his main account, the burner one. The one I'd uncovered 3 weeks earlier, now silently BCC'd to my inbox. They weren't just fantasizing, they were planning. Tour dates, mortgage estimates, a shared spreadsheet titled Post-April Budget. I stared at it for a long time. Then I cleared the tab, returned the iPad to the charger, and went to make her a cup of tea. When I handed it to her, she smiled and said, "You're too good to me." I smiled back. Her birthday surprise, day 68, her birthday. I planned everything down to the hour. The kind of celebration that looks effortless but takes a spreadsheet and 2 weeks of coordination. Morning coffee with a note, flowers delivered to her work, dinner reservations at her favorite rooftop place. I even invited a few close friends, ones who hadn't picked sides yet. She was glowing that night, the kind of glow you can't fake. But it wasn't for me. She spent most of dinner on her phone, smiling at texts, sneaking glances under the table. I didn't have to guess. I'd already mirrored her messages to my own device. Mark had sent her a private countdown message that morning. 29 more days, babe. We're almost there. Her reply? I can't wait to wake up next to you. No more pretending. I passed her the wine list and told her to get whatever she wanted. She leaned across the table, kissed my cheek, and said, "You always know how to make me feel special." The table clapped. The waiter brought dessert with a sparkler. Everyone saw a loving husband giving his wife the world. No one saw the world I was quietly burning down around her. The playlist. Day 72. I found the playlist by accident. We share a Spotify account, or rather, she thinks we do. What she doesn't know is that I made a duplicate profile weeks ago just to see what she was listening to when she wasn't around me. It was titled Morning Light. Cute, innocent. But the songs? They weren't innocent at all. Soft acoustic covers, obscure indie tracks, titles like Lover in the Dark, Two-Faced Smile, When We Leave. Track 7 was Our Beginning, an instrumental she once told me was too melancholy for her taste. Now it was on repeat. It had been played 43 times this month. 43. There was a collaborative icon next to it, meaning someone else was adding songs too. Mark. Of course it was Mark, the perfect third wheel. Together, they'd curated their affair into a soundtrack. I hit download on the whole thing, saved it to a hidden folder with my evidence, let it loop once in my headphones while I stared at the ceiling that night. The lyrics weren't subtle. The betrayal was melodic, and I was done pretending not to hear it. The birthday card. Day 76. I found the card in her gym bag. It was small, the kind you buy from boutique paper shops. No cartoon balloons or glitter, just thick ivory cardstock and the words, "For you," in elegant script. No envelope, just tucked between a pair of leggings and a travel-sized bottle of dry shampoo. It wasn't from me. Inside was a short handwritten message in Mark's handwriting. I knew it well, after years of shared birthday bar tabs and groomsmen speech notes. To the woman who makes mornings worth waking up for. Only 21 days left until it's finally just us, minus M. That's all. No love, no hearts, but the intimacy was louder than any "I love you." She had kept it, carried it. This wasn't some meaningless fling. This was her exit strategy, pressed between Lululemons. I took a picture, put it back, then went downstairs and folded laundry like it was any other Saturday. When she asked if I wanted to go for a walk, I said yes. When she held my hand, I held it back, because in 21 days, I wouldn't have to hold anything I didn't want to anymore. Just a quick trip. Day 79. She said she was going to Target. It was 8:15 p.m. I was folding bath towels in the hallway closet when she grabbed her keys. "Just a quick trip," she said. "We're out of toothpaste." No kiss goodbye. No coat, even though it was 42 degrees and drizzling outside. I waited 3 minutes, then opened the tracking app. She wasn't headed toward Target. She was driving west, toward the Marriott by the interstate, the same hotel listed on the emailed receipt I'd found in our shared inbox a week earlier. Room 214, King Suite, wine and strawberries add-on. My chest didn't hurt anymore. That was new. Maybe I'd finally reached the part of grief where nothing surprises you. I screenshotted her location, saved it to my growing folder titled Final Days. She came back just after 11, tossed a Target bag on the counter with a single travel-sized tube of toothpaste. I smiled from the couch. "Get what you needed?" She nodded. "Lines were terrible." I nodded too. She brushed her teeth with a man's cologne still lingering on her shirt. I went back to folding towels. 3 days left. The will, day 83. She brought up our wills. We were sitting on the couch, half watching a home renovation show while she scrolled on her phone. "Hey," she said casually, like she wasn't planning to upend everything I am. "We should really revisit our wills. I was reading that couples should update them every 5 years. Ours are, what, 10 years old?" I nodded, pretending to think it over. In truth, I'd already updated mine 2 weeks ago. New executor, new beneficiaries, everything moved to a trust she couldn't touch. Quiet, clean, legal. She leaned over, kissed my cheek. "I'll set up a meeting with that estate attorney Rita used. He's great." Rita, her sister. The same one who told me with dead eyes, "Mary deserves to be happy in the grocery store aisle." I smiled. "Good idea. Let's protect our future." What future? They weren't just planning to start over. They were planning to bury me in paperwork first. A death by signature. A slow fade via legal erasure. She fell asleep early that night with her head on my shoulder. I stared at the screen, watching our old will open in a new tab. One last document she wouldn't see coming. The ring. Day 87. She wasn't wearing her ring. It was subtle. Most people wouldn't have noticed. But I did. The moment she handed me her coffee mug that morning. No tan line, no indentation, just a bare left hand. She caught me looking and smiled. "Took it off for the gym yesterday. Forgot to put it back on." "Lieutenant, she never takes it off. Not for workouts, not for yard work, not even during beach vacations. I'd offered to get it resized once. She'd said no. Said it fit like it was part of her. Not anymore, apparently. Later that day, I checked the nightstand drawer. It wasn't there either. Gone. Did she give it to him? Or was it just her own quiet goodbye? At dinner, she was all warmth and laughter, talking about booking a cabin for the fall. Just the two of us. I nodded, poured her more wine. The silver band on my own hand felt heavier than ever. That night, I slipped it off, set it on the counter by the sink. Didn't say a word. She didn't notice. And I didn't put it back on. The group chat. Day 90. The group chat lit up. Our shared circle, old college friends, neighbors, a couple of co-workers who'd become drinking buddies. We called it the usual suspects. Normally it was memes, game invites, birthday reminders. But tonight it was different. Amanda posted, "Hey, weird question. Is everything okay with you two? Just saw something that didn't feel right." No one responded for a minute. Then Josh added, "Yeah, I thought I saw Mark's truck near the Marriott last week. Was gonna say something, but figured maybe work?" I didn't reply. Neither did she. 3 dots danced under her name for 10 seconds, then vanished. She didn't have a lie ready. I sat at the kitchen table rereading the thread, the gentle concern turning slowly into side-eyed suspicion. Then Amanda sent me a private message. "If you ever need to talk, I'm here. No judgment, just careful who you trust." She knew. Not everything, but enough. I didn't reply to Amanda either. Just saved the screenshot and filed it under external witnesses. 3 days left. Day 97, game over. She thought today was the day I'd sign the house into her name for tax purposes. She wore the blue dress, the one I bought her for our 5th anniversary, told me I looked handsome, called me babe 3 times before lunch, made pancakes, even added blueberries. She was giddy, nervous in that excited way, kept checking her phone. I drove us to the appointment just like she planned, except I dropped her off at the tax office alone. "Forgot my wallet," I lied. "Be right in." She smiled, kissed my cheek, walked through the doors with her binder, and a future she thought was secured. She didn't know that binder was useless now. Didn't know she'd be served with divorce papers in 15 minutes. Didn't know the lawyer she'd meet inside wasn't her advisor. It was mine. Didn't know our friends and families already knew. Didn't know her shared Google album, bank statements, texts, and receipts were all in the cloud. Didn't know that everything she built on betrayal was about to collapse. At 2:17 p.m., my phone buzzed. 1 word from my lawyer. "Served." I turned off the phone, took a deep breath, walked away, and didn't look back.